If you guys are looking for any cheap and reliable coins, check out MMOPO.com. Use the code PINGU at checkout to get 8% off. Hey guys, welcome to Season 2, Episode number 2 of the Derby Crowd Live. And to start off this episode, we're going to go into some more transfers. Of course, we are looking to improve our squad for the season. At the minute, we've currently signed DeAndre Yedlin, Max Lowe at fullback. We might need another left back because our current other ones are Scott Malone, who's probably going to leave the club as he is 30 years old. He's okay. He's not terrible. But I'd much rather focus on younger players such as Lee Buchanan and obviously the situation up front is a bit of a question. Do we need a bit of a better striker since we do need to finish mid-table? We need to be scoring like 15, maybe even 20 goals this season in the Premier League. So it's an interesting one. So I've had your guys' feedback in between the two episodes, and I think the majority of you wanted me to sign the free agents that make sense financially. Obviously we've got Ryan Bertrand, we've got Tosin and Romero and Vasquez. I don't think we'll get Romero because I'd probably prefer, wherever he is, I'll just sort this by team. If anything, I'd probably go for Ulrich over Romero just because obviously he's a couple of years younger and double in the value. So we'll remove Romero from the shortlist. Obviously at 35 he's a pretty similar situation to Ben Foster. So yeah, I think our first signing of the episode, which makes a lot of sense, is going to be Lucas Vasquez. Obviously he can play on the wing or he can go at that central attacking midfielder position, and as I said, we could always sell him on for like 16 million and financially would be sound. So I kind of want to give him a rotation role, but I don't think he'll accept that. I'll give it a crack and see, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, he's going. I want to, because he's not going to play every single game. But we'll have to wait and see. See, Crucial's a difficult one, but I think I'm just going to accept it. And if he gets annoyed, obviously he'll leave the club anyway. We'll give him a 2 or 3. I think even a 3-year deal's fine because obviously he's not going to decline too much. Even at like a 76, he's going to be pretty sellable. So yeah, let's have a look and see what kind of wages he's looking for. They haven't suggested, so we're going to have to go in with 44k plus a 150 bonus and hope that's what he signs. And I think it's a pretty good deal, and there we go. So this one's mainly to bulk up the squad, get us a bit of a quality, and financially it just gives us that bit of a bargaining chip basically for next season. If we want to get rid of him. Obviously he's got very good stats. Not the fastest, but he is actually fast. Well, he's just as fast as Jordan Ibe. So in terms of stats, obviously Jordan Ibe and Vaz, it's kind of crazy that they both got similar stats, but one's 2 reigns higher. But I'm not 100% sure where to put him. I probably prefer to put him there if we were going to do anything, just because I see him more as a cam than a winger, if that makes sense. He's only got crossing is 80, which is not bad. Much better than Jordan Ibe actually, so maybe he is a good winger. He is right-footed, I think. Yeah, so maybe sticking him on the right might make sense. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see, of course. The only thing I don't like about Jordan Ibe is obviously he just doesn't have a player face and he doesn't have an icon here. And it's kind of, I don't know, I prefer the interactivity of having the ability to see. It's a shame with Liam Delap as well that I can't see him, but nevertheless we'll go into some more transfers. We do need to look at a goalkeeper and a striker obviously in this episode, but I think I've added all the ones that you guys have suggested as well. Morgan Gibbs-White, Hagi, this guy from Ajax I've not heard too much about, Ryan Gravenberch. Looks like a decent player. Bertrand Traore, Curtis Jones and Jeremy Doku, very good players indeed. We'll get the scout reports back on those, but I think the other one that we wanted to sign in terms of these defensive signings is probably Tosin, because what I can do, and I can just loan him out and it can be a future player, because at 23 still has a lot of potential. But I might actually go for this Argentinian midfielder first. I think we'll get both of them, to be honest. Ryan Bertrand's a bit of an interesting one because at 77 rated, he's only just a little bit better than Lowe, and I think if we play with Lowe for the next month or two, Bertrand won't be that needed. So I don't think I'll probably look for him. Obviously we've got Ruben Vinagre here, who hopefully looks quite decent. I don't know if it's a realistic signing though, that's the only downside of him, but I think we'll go for Tosin. Obviously he did move to Fulham in real life, but since the transfers aren't updated, as I already keep saying a number of times, but one thing I could always do is loan out Cabango, because he is 6 ratings lower than Tosin. I do need to probably start to learn his second name if we're going to sign him, but we'll go up to 16k plus I'll even go 90k signing on bonus, and hopefully he signs that. And there we go. It seems like the free agents, obviously because they don't have a club, it's quite easy to bring them in. So in terms of centre-backs, we've got Clark and Bielik. I don't think I'll class Fernandinho as a centre-back. I know he is a centre-back, but I don't know if he has the ability to play there on FIFA anyway. We've got Fosu Mensah as a backup centre-back, then Rodon, then Adara Biayo. Maybe that's his name. And we also have Cabango, of course, who's 65 rated. So it's one of those, obviously I don't want to oversign and kind of upset the squad and players not playing and stuff like that. As you can see, we've got quite a few players, but we are looking to move on a few. Very unfortunate training injury here, but I don't want to say it's nice that somebody got injured, but it kind of helps us in terms of getting Vazquez into the team, because obviously he is, I'd say Vazquez and Tom Lawrence are quite similar. Obviously Vazquez is a little bit faster, both got the same shooting, slightly better passing on Vazquez, slightly better dribbling, but they're quite physical, and obviously with the 4-star skills as well. So yeah, he's going to be out for a couple of months with it, which is a bit of a shame, of course. But I think Tom Lawrence for this season, he'll be a bit more of a backup player, but still very good. I think like he's a very rare player of his quality, of course. So yeah, in terms of the bench, I don't know what I need. That's the problem. Like I don't want to oversign something that we don't need. But I think a young goalkeeper is probably the next move. Since Ben Foster is 38 and going to go down in stats, and we've got 40 million, I think it's worth spending like 15, maybe 20 million on a goalkeeper just to shore up that position. If we just transfer over the budget, there we go, we've got 35 mil plus 144k in wages. So in terms of goalkeepers, I think you guys suggested that I sign, probably, I think a few of you wanted me to get Ulrich, which makes sense. He's worth 8 mil, and he's a good goalkeeper, but he's kind of Ben Foster again. He's not going to grow. I like the idea of Ramsdale. He's 6'2", and he is going to grow at 23. He's definitely going to grow in stats. But there's also this Dutch goalkeeper here, who I've not heard too much about. He has got the injury-prone trait, which isn't great, but he might be the shout just because he's not from the British leagues. Obviously he's on much cheaper wages, so financially it'll probably save us a little bit of money. So let's go into the negotiations. If I can get him for under 20 million, I think he'd be a good young goalkeeper to bring into the club. Obviously it's a difficult position to sign for, as Chelsea are finding out with Kepa. So the interesting thing is I can already put my players that I've literally just signed into these deals. Is this the most... There's a particular word I want to use, but I can't say it because of YouTube. You might know what it is, but is it that word? Housery. Is it that, or is it... If we can do this, then it's a little bit of a cheat, but we might have like 200 IQ'd the game there. We've literally just signed Vazquez, and we can send him out as a... Ooh, this actually might be quite broken then. If you can literally just sign free agents and then send them out straight away, you're basically printing money. That's what you're doing by doing this, and it's maybe something EA should look at, because I don't think you should be able to put a player that's literally just signed for the club the day before into a swap deal. And that's basically what I wanted Vazquez for. He was a good financial deal. So let me just go over and sign all these free agents, because, wow, this game, you can basically just do what you want. So So let me just see what else we've got in terms of value on those free agents. See, Ulrich's worth 8 million. Bertrand's worth 7.5. But I think we'll get this Capaldo guy in just because he is 22. At pretty much 70 rated, it makes a lot of sense. If we can loan him out for the season, grow him up, and then sell him for like 5 or 6 million. It's a nice little system we've got going here. I want to give him sporadic, but you might want rotation. Yeah, he's going to go for rotation. Well, he'll play every now and then. Since we are playing 3 central midfielders now, 4-year contract looks decent. Hopefully the wages aren't too bad. Be interested to see if he comes in with them or we have to offer. And yeah, we're going to have to offer. So I'll go 12k plus the 90k or 70k. That'll do. And there we go. Cool. 12k a week wages. It's really a low amount of money. And obviously we can always look to loan him out. We can always look. I think I'm going to loan out Hutchinson, 61 rated in the Premier League. Probably isn't good enough. Scott Malona's already downgraded by a rating to 69. But yeah, Capaldo looks decent. Pretty good stats if I compare him to Sibley. He's got better pace, better passing, not quite as good dribbling, but better physical and much better defending. So he's a nice squad player to have, and just bulks things up. Obviously, defensively, Rooney isn't the greatest, both at actual tackling and positioning on the pitch. Like his defensive awareness is probably not that great. It's 54. Yeah, I think getting that young goalkeeper, it'll be interesting to see if that deal does go through. At the minute, obviously they're just wanting to see if they're interested in Vasquez. If you just do a swap deal with Vasquez, then that's a little bit of a cheat. But there's a little part of me that wants Emi Martinez because he's a brilliant keeper. Same with Ramsdale, to be honest. And obviously they do have scanned faces, which just makes things much better. Johnston, if we didn't have Foster and we still had Marshall, I think Johnston would be a brilliant upgrade. But I think just because he is 28 and 76, he's not going to grow. And the decision is between Martinez and Ramsdale. I don't think you can put Vasquez into another swap deal, so I won't be able to put Vasquez into Martinez, for example, until Feyenoord come back. So I think we'll wait and see if I can basically use Vasquez to sign a goalkeeper. Then this game, I don't know. It's in the game. Obviously, I'm kind of cheating the system, but yeah, they're not interested in him, and I think 22 million, sorry, is a little bit too much for that kind of goalkeeper. There's a number of options we've got here, so we don't have to just accept the first one. It'd be nice if I could actually find the transfer hub and get there. I think just because of the wages of Ramsdale, I'll go for him first. Or do I go Martinez? I really like Emi Martinez. Like, he's a top quality keeper for Arsenal in that last 6 months. Really good, and looks like a really good signing for Aston Villa. So let's put Lucas Vasquez into the deal. Can we do a straight up swap? No, they're not interested. That's a little bit annoying. Maybe there's a bit of a system in the game that doesn't allow you to do that. But in terms of strikers, we have got a few. Marriott's going to be an interesting one this season if we do sign another striker, because obviously we've got Liam Delap and Adam Ida, so he's only worth 13. So if we can get 14 million for Martinez, then that'll be a little bit more realistic. But it seems like they know I need a goalkeeper of the game, and everyone's just gone, I'll pay 20 mil, like way over the odds for the goalkeepers. I don't even mind putting a sell-on clause in here because as he is 28, obviously he's not going to go down too much in stats. But yeah, they do seem to be literally sticking to their guns, and it's not great. So we'll go to 15.5. Can't put a sell-on clause in, which is interesting. That's very interesting that I can't put it back into the deal. So I'm going to have to increase the money to 16 million, and they're going to need a little bit of time. So we'll go into Ramsdale now. Obviously Ramsdale's probably the more attractive in terms of growth. Obviously he's the youngest goalkeeper I think we've got by quite a mark. Well, with Bijlow, the Dutch goalkeeper. Yeah, but yeah, they do have a 21 million release clause, so that's the absolute most that I'm going to have to pay is 21 million. The reason I'm putting Vasquez into these deals is because we've got Damari Gray and Ibe for that right-hand side, in my opinion, and then Jozrak and Lawrence or Whittaker for the left-hand side. So we don't really need Vazquez. Obviously, he's a very good player, but I don't know. I'm not too convinced he's exactly what we need. But yeah, again, they're not like. Why are you offering me a transfer sum that's, or is that exactly? Yeah, it was 21. My memory has gone. I thought it was 20, but seems like nobody's interested in Lucas Vazquez, which is a bit sad. So it seems like everyone's literally wanting about 21 million for their goalkeepers, which is quite interesting. And that Burnley fixture is coming up quite soon. But again, they're just sticking to that price tag of 21 million, which I don't really want to be paying all that money. So let's go back into negotiations and see what we can do in terms of movement. Obviously, we've got a few players that I could probably look to put into deals. One player that I might be tempted to move on, just so that we can get Jayden Bogle, is Nathan Byrne. Even though Nathan Byrne is wonderful, he's not exactly what I need. We'll put Simula into this deal. Knock off, go to 16.7, and hopefully Sheffield Wednesday. They've knocked it down a bit. We've saved 2 million now, so if I can save a little bit more, then that would be fantastic. We'll even increase the sell-on clause, and hopefully we get a deal here. And there we go. Cool. Finally, Chris Wilder. Obviously, you got Max Lowe from them. But it does seem slightly more difficult to sign on strict negotiations, which is good to see. The thing I like about Ramsdale is obviously he's very young at 23, and he can obviously grow in stats compared to Martinez, who will probably just stick to 77. He might grow a little bit, but Ramsdale can probably hit 85 and maybe even 90 if I'm really, really lucky, with the dynamic potentials, of course. It's going to be a very tough season. Obviously, he's kind of keep hopping clubs at the minute in these past 3 seasons. He was at Bournemouth, then went to Sheffield United. Did that in the last episode about 4 times in the edit. I realised I said Sheffield Wednesday for Sheffield United when I was signing Max Lowe. So I do apologise if any Sheffield fans are watching, because that's just a massive middle finger. Give him a big 5-year contract, obviously 23, he's got plenty of legs in him, and hopefully if we can get it around that 17k, then I've got an absolute bargain of a transfer. So we'll just match his current deal at Sheffield United plus the 150k signing on bonus, and hopefully everything all works. And there we go, great, we've got a goalkeeper in. It was pretty much between Bigelow, Martinez and Ramsdale, and Ramsdale seems the best deal for me, and yeah, he'll go straight into that number 1 slot. I could probably list up David Marshall, but I think he's in his final year of a contract anyway. What am I doing? Why am I putting Johnny Mitchell in goal? There we go, Ramsdale in goal. So if we compare him with Ben Foster, as you can see, positioning is the only difference between the two goalkeepers. He is slightly short, only 6'2". I do like having goalkeepers that are, 6'4", 6'5". But I think in terms of stats, obviously much better diving, much better kicking than Foster. Same reflexes, and once he gets up to full fitness, he should be a really good goalkeeper. So yeah, I think in that position we're sorted now. I think it's just looking at a striker. I think that's what we need for this season, especially with the Premier League and how difficult it's going to be. We'll see against Burnley how difficult it is, but we will transfer list David Marshall, just because, as you can see, he is on like 8.8k a week wages, so you don't really want to be spending unnecessary money. I could transfer list Ben Foster, but I don't think it's really worth it. I think he's on a good amount of money for what rating he is. So yeah, let's go simulate up to the Burnley game. So let's go into our first Premier League game of the season. It is at home against Burnley, obviously a very tough opposition. Defensive 4-4-2, of course, for them. They have made a few signings. They've got Malqui from Napoli, Mavropanos, Payet, Dimitri Payet back in the Premier League, and Caicedo, very big, powerful striker up top. So yeah, I think in terms of the squad, striker's the only, as you can see, the difference in rating. I don't know if we'll play Vazquez. Do we play Vasquez or do we play Damari Gray? That's the question. I think just because of the extra bit of sharpness, we will go for Damari Gray. But I think overall I'm pretty happy with the squad, and we've still got a good 30 million I think to spend on somebody. And we don't obviously need to spend all of our money. We could just save a little bit and do that in January when things are a little bit more different. One thing I do need to actually check is competitor mode, because basically to do squad battles easier, turn it off, but then on the career mode I need to remember to turn it back on, so let me just do that. And yeah, let's go on to our first Premier League game of the season. Here we are then at Pride Park for our first Premier League game in over 13 years I think. Been a very long time indeed, and Burnley is the team to kick off the season against. Obviously that midfield three, it'll be very interesting to see how it works. It'll be interesting to see how the 4-3-3 does, because it's kind of the first time we're testing it out since that. Was it Bournemouth? No, it wasn't, but it was Blackburn. I think last time we played with this formation was against Blackburn towards the end of last season. So they're playing a 4-4-2. Casado up top with Chris Wood, Dwight McNeil on the left, Goodmanson on the right, Westwood and Payet in the middle, then Charlie Taylor, Malqui, Mavropanos, Digi. Is that how you say his name? Maybe. Nick Pope in goal, who's a brilliant goalkeeper, probably one of the best in the Premier League. So if Liam Delap can beat him, maybe he's our number one striker. Burnley on the edge here with Dimitri Payet. Lays it off for Goodmanson. Can Ramsdale make a good save? Yes, he can. To kick off his career at the club, of course. Chance here in the box for Dimitri Payet. It's weird that Payet's playing for Sean Dyche, but oh, there's the first goal of the Premier League season. Don't know if we're going to do that great this season. Like, the objective is to finish mid-table, and defending against Burnley, you know, I'm struggling. I didn't do great there, to be honest, but yeah, Dimitri Payet is a very, very good player, and it's going to be a long season. Burnley parked on the edge here, slips it in, now across the face of goal and into the back of the net, and it's 2-0 in the 23rd minute, and I just don't know what I can do. This season is going to be incredibly hard. I don't know what the back four was doing there, to be honest. Like, they're all a bit over the place, but it is their first time playing together, so it's going to be interesting to see how everyone gels, because we've got a number of players coming into the squad, but I've literally not been able to attack yet. I've not had a proper clear-cut chance, so I don't know if this formation is exactly what we need. Maybe the 3-5-2 was the answer, and just hope to outscore all the Premier League teams. The only issue is that this formation is that the lap is quite isolated in the middle, but we have got a chance here with Louis Sibley if he can fire the cannon, but is saved by Nick Pope. Bird here into Sibley. Can he get the finish? Yes, he... No, he can't. That should be a goal. I don't know how he's not scored that. How has that not gone? It's like it bent away at the last second, and this game, man, it would have been a really good goal to have going into the second half, just to narrow the gap, of course. But yeah, it's a bit of a tricky first half so far. Chance here in the box, it's deflected off a couple of defenders, and it's into the back. That's so lucky from Burnley. How many players did that just bounce off? Because that is... It's like the game just doesn't want me to win. Like, he goes down the corner, bounces off low, then it bounces off back of Clark's heel, and then it just goes straight to Dwight McNeil, who's put the final nail in the coffin in this game, and I think that's game over, unless we can rescue something somehow. I've seen very little from Liam Delap up front, and even like Josuak and Gray on the wings, not too much from them. Shinnie did actually want to play this game, so I guess I can put him in for lower left back just because of fitness. Chance here for Gray. If he can get on the end of it, that'd be great. Can he whip the ball into the middle? It's gone back to Vasquez, but Burnley are just so good at defending. Chance here for Burnley. Can they make it 4-0 with Dimitri Payet? Yes, they can. And I think at that point I can safely say that we aren't winning our first game back in the Premier League after 13 years. One thing I did actually realise that kind of just clicked in my brain is that obviously Aaron Ramsdale, Rams, plays for the Rams. So there's a nice little thing. That's about the only positive from the game that I just chuckle to myself about that, but it's, you know, shooting wise, I don't think we've had a clear-cut chance like where I've gone, oh, that'll be a goal, and the passes have just been really, really poor. Chance here through the middle for Burnley, Casado to make it 5, and there's 5. Might need to go back to the drawing board because I just don't know what to do. Defensively, we've been shocking, and going forwards, I don't think I've had a scoring opportunity. So yeah, not really anything to say. Maybe we can get 1 goal here at the end with Adam Ida, but defensively, like that is what happens basically. You just literally cannot get a chance. There's full time against Burnley, a 5-0 loss in our first ever Premier League game, and yeah, not really much to talk about in terms of attacking wise. There's a bit of a chance here from Sibley. If we could make, I think if we made it 2-1 there, the game could have easily turned the other way. We did get a chance here with Joswiak as well, but yeah, just went over the bar. And like, I don't know, other than those 2 chances, we didn't have much, and defensively I just had no answers. So I think one thing that I'm going to probably look to do is play the default 4-2-3-1. I think that might help us both going forwards and defensively. Obviously it means we've got the 2 CDMs. Actually what I'll do is I'll put Bird on the left and then Knight on the right, just because obviously they're predominant foot. And then obviously it means the centre attacking midfielder can give a bit more support to the striker, because in that last game, literally nothing. And yeah, defensively we weren't great. Yedlin, you know, at 71 defending, I don't know if that's quite good enough. Same with Max Lowe. Like, the Premier League is very difficult, and we might have to look to put Fosu Mensah at right back just until we get our foothold in playing these big games. Maybe getting Fernandinho in. But yeah, like, I don't know. We do need to loan list a couple of players, just because obviously we just signed them for the club. So we'll loan you and the Argentinian midfielder Capaldo. There we go. I think, did we already loan? Yeah, we've already loaned Hutchinson. But I think, like, we had no chances for our strikers, so I think we do need to take that jump, as else we're not going to get anything in games. So let's have a look at what strikers we've got as options and make a good judgment. So I think we need somebody like Cabral or Morelos, basically, or Wesley. And what I like about Cabral is his wages are super cheap, and he's got flair and power header trait, which is a combination that you very rarely see. So he's the player that I got my eye on. So I think it makes a lot of sense to have a talk and see if Basel are looking to sell. One thing I could do is put some swap deals in, but since we have got the money to do the deal, probably should just send them the money. As you can see, we haven't got much money to negotiate, and they've gone up to 30. Oh dear. That is a lot of money. I can only bid 23 million. So maybe this deal isn't viable. Who can I put in the deal? Probably have to put a striker in, because obviously if we're getting rid of a striker, it might have to be Jack Marriott, just because he's gone out on loan in real life and he's not going to grow anymore on the game. And I think he's the best player that we've got. I wasn't too convinced about Lucas Vazquez, so we'll try him in the deal. Plus 5 million, and hopefully Basel are interested in that. If they're not interested in Vazquez, we might have a bit of an issue. And yeah, they're not interested in him, and that's a big letdown, because now it's very difficult to negotiate when you've literally got no real money to spend. We've gone down to 27, which is slightly nice. He's only going to want about 40k in wages, so as long as we can get that deal done, and they need a bit of time now. You see, this is what I didn't want. I wanted just a nice 20 million offer, and there you go, have the striker, but it seems that they're much more difficult to sign now, and I don't know if it's worth trying for Morelos, just because he's quite similar anyway to Cabral. The only difference is the height. He's 6'1", and 5'10" for Morelos isn't great. Ollie Watkins still very, very good striker. Loan with an option to buy here for Ivan Martinez from Nottingham Forest, which is a bit odd because I can't sign players from Forest, but they can sign players from me. And I only want a loan, so we'll negotiate just to loan. And if that doesn't work, then we'll not obviously advance with the deal. Most of the time when you take out the proposed to buy, that happens, which is kind of annoying because if you loan list somebody, I don't want to sell them. I want them to be playing out on loan, and then I can bring them back and they're a better player. So we might need to put Fernandinho in for this next game against Southampton. We do have interest here, a loan offer. That's something I could look at. I don't know if loan to buy might be the play on a few of these players. And we do have the final scout report here for Ruben Vinagre, 90 pace, and pretty good defending actually for quite an attacking fullback. And obviously we could look at a 5 at the back formation, that's another thing we could do. But yeah, let's have a look at loans for strikers and see if anyone's interested. They've gone in for that, so let's see if we can get what we can get for Cabral. He's kind of my number one target in a way, but obviously if the deal doesn't work, then we won't be advancing any further. I'll even be tempted to knock that sell-on clause up by quite a bit if we can get the deal for 21k done. Obviously with Marriott it goes up to 24 anyway, but they're sticking at their price. We might need to literally max out the sell-on clause if we are going to make this deal work. There we go, we finally got a deal for Cabral. It is 21 million, £681,580, plus a 25% and Jack Marriott going in the other direction, which is a bit ridiculous for a player that I think, did it say 1 year? I think he's got 1 year left on his contract. It's like, it's quite a bit of money, but it's exactly what we need. The only issue is if we can afford his wages or not. That's the only downside. We'll give him a crucial role, of course. They're happy with that. I don't know if he's got a Roma badge on. The scout. Did the scout have a Roma badge on? Not the scout, the agent, sorry. But we'll give him 20k a week wages plus a 150k signing on fee. I might even be tempted to go a little bit higher just to not annoy him. He is going to be our pretty much number one striker, so we'll go up to 24k a week wages, which is still very low for a 77 rated player. They're wanting a little bit more, and it is Roma. Why has the agent got a Roma badge on? That is ridiculous, this game. So many bugs. We'll knock this up to 25k, and hopefully he'll accept that deal. They've gone up to 27. Can we get 26? Meet us in the middle, lads. And we have got a big striker to bring into the club. And there we go, cool, 26k a week wages. Now, we have our big striker up front, but we have no money. So, in terms of signings, until we could probably get one more free agent, and maybe looking at the loan market might be the shout for the remaining signings that we do need, of course. But I think we'll need to look to sell some players. We have got rid of Jack Marriott, of course, in that deal. But there we go. Cabral coming into the team. Probably means Ida dropping down to the reserves. And if you can compare the two, Cabral, like, he's got 17 more physical. That's what you need. He's got way more better shooting, 5 more shooting, and 9 more dribbling. So, yeah, like, the ideal person would be Chris Martin, but we can't sign Chris Martin, so we got Cabral. And I think that flair and power header, what's his agility? It's pretty okay at 70. But yeah, I think this formation with Sibley, or maybe a Rooney or a Vazquez or a Tom Lawrence when he comes back from his injury, might be the play. But we do have a lot of players, so I need to just basically hope that we do get them loaned out. I might even be tempted to like loan out Roden just because he's only 23, and obviously if there's no interest in anyone else, I'm not wanting like Cabango, Tosin and Roden all just sat here doing nothing. So we'll go add him to the loan list, and yeah, we might need to loan list Whittaker as well. what I'll do is I'll just sort it by rating. Already got you loan listed. Burn, I might... Burn's a nice bit of money to make, but he's a good right back backup option for Yedlin, of course. But so we'll loan list Roden, and we could always sell someone like Shinny because he's not 100% needed, but he's okay. It's worth 2.5 million, which is quite a nice amount of money, and obviously would give us the option to sell players. But we haven't exactly sold anyone at all. Obviously we got rid of a few of them at the end of last season, but in terms of this season we've not had any offers for players that I want to sell anyway. I don't want to get rid of Bird or Joswiak anyway. Yeah, I might be tempted to try Fosu Mensah just because I don't know, I do like Matt Clark though. Much more physical, much better defending, but the pace difference is huge. But we'll give it, maybe it was just an off day. Maybe this 4-2-3-1 will be a little bit better in the next game against Southampton. So yeah, I think we'll wrap up this episode here. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. Make sure you do keep on leaving suggestions on who we should sign, although we don't have any money. You know, maybe we'll literally get a bit of a load for a player that I'm happy to sell. But there's not many. Like I could probably use Vazquez in a swap deal because I'm not too convinced that we 100% need him, but I think we've made a good amount of signings now. You know, maybe not signing these two on loan on a free was the right thing to do, but I think obviously just in terms of squad depth and for the future, there's a lot of good deals here to be done. So yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy this episode. Make sure you do leave a like ring if you are enjoying this series, and yeah, see you soon. Bye.